tectonics तक की जर्नी को कैच करेंगे. We will be capturing all that has happened in the world of plate tectonics and what led to that. So right in the beginning, any questions? Any questions? Good morning. Good morning to all. Good morning, Sumit, Rishabh, Jyot, Nitesh. Good morning. Quickly, any questions? Diagrams हमारे हो गए. And geomorphology में confidence आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा है? Do we have confidence in geomorphology or not? Yes. चलिए बहुत अच्छी बात है. And I'm sure people who are attending the environment class also step by step with every passing class they're gaining some confidence. And more questions, more testing we will be doing in the times to come that will keep on adding to your confidence. I would say concept clarity is one thing, being able to translate that into marks is another one. So let me upload today's files. So today's file, what do we have? Okay, we are going to talk about continental drift hypothesis and other phenomena. So Dushyant is saying, I'm watching the previous classes on advanced geomorphology again. Yeah, that's the advantage you have with online classes. The offline, a very, very clear difference between offline and online is that online you have the advantage that you can again watch the lecture. You already have the notes once with you. You can very well consolidate, and your teacher is also teaching you live, so you can clarify your doubts also. So any doubts for today? So after today's class, my confidence increased in environment also. But again, I would say your confidence, if it is increasing with any of the class, with any of the educator, is because you have taken that challenge that my teacher as well we will be giving our 100%. So वो partnership से पास होते हैं. कोई भी भगवान बन के आपको पास नहीं करवाता है. Sir, in an academy book I read that tide is one of the reasons on Western Ghat. ठीक है. So this is the question. So first 5 minutes are your questions. चलिए इस question को भी देख लेते हैं. So let's start today's class. So welcome to all. और कोई question हम नहीं ले रहे फिर. This is the question that I have. So we have the west coast of India. We have the west coast of India and we have the east coast. Yes or no? We know that Kaveri is making an amazing, magnificent delta over here. Many distributaries and everything on this. We know River Krishna, River Godavari, they are having deltas. Mahanadi will also have its delta, and then Sundarban is a delta. Okay? Whereas on the western side, we have estuaries, Narmada, Tapi, and even those rivers which are coming like this. This side is estuaries. This side is deltas. Okay. So though I will be talking about that in Indian geography, and if you are a student who has not done Indian geography, तो आपके लिए मैं बता देना चाहता हूँ for your help. Let me tell you that this is the top view, this is the top view, and this is the side view of Indian plate. These are oceans, these are oceans. Get that? Here we see that there is a gentle flow of slope is gentle. Yes or no? Everyone's slope is gentle. Slope is gentle means the power to transport, now to you know the cycle of erosion. Power to transport, sediment load, everything is low. True or not? So the rivers are still, like coming gradually, and they have a tendency to deposit more. So they start depositing, and this whole area has a coastal plain created. True or not? The river is coming, and the river doesn't have any slope. So what happens? It divides, distributaries, and that is why we have got fan-shaped deltas created over here. Is everyone with me on this? So this is a fact. This is the fact. Now you know why this happens, and you already know, like as the river is losing that. So can I say as the river is here, youth, mature, senile, so it will form the delta. Now you know all those things. So the river cannot transport, and it has huge volume, huge sediment load. It is going to drop this. But on the western side, we have the cliff face. So rivers are falling almost at a good speed, and then they come and join the sea. Now I would say the river was in youth itself. And the sea came. Will the river deposit? No, the river does not deposit. So probably the mouth of the river gets submerged in the ocean itself, and probably in the ocean it will deposit. So this side is estuary. Is everyone okay? Now this all we know. I don't understand that when we know the reality, and if some statement comes, why can't we connect to it? अब ये कह रहे हैं कि sir, I read in unacademy book क्या पेड़ पे लगी है? The reason for the rivers in Western Ghat not forming delta is tide. So ये तो reason नहीं है. Tide is not the reason. Then is the book wrong? No sir, it is saying one of the reasons. Get that? How important is that reason? I don't know. What does tide do? Is tide also a fluvial agent? Is tide also a fluvial agent? It will go, and because when the water rises normally. This is the mean sea level. This is the mean sea level. Up to this, the coast is eroded, but because of that, water level जब rise करता है high tide पे, so this part is also eroded. So sediments will fall over here. But when the tide goes back, what happens? It carries the sediments along with it. So sediments along ले जाता है. So if the river had any plan to deposit anything over here, though the river does not deposit because the river is young enough, but if it has any plan, then the water is also such that the water takes away those sediments back. This English adds to it one more reason. अब मुझे ये नहीं समझ में आता सर, I did not understand how. भाई आपको वेव कैसे समझ में आया? How did you understand wave then? Remember we talked about coast of submergence, emergence, landforms. ये तो coastal landform है ना everyone? Coastal landform. Does it say that waves can cut also, erode also high energy coast, and waves take away also? Yes or no? Low energy coast they will deposit, and high energy coast they will take away. They will take away. ऐसा है? तो वेव्स की तरह ही जब टाइड्स आएगा, टाइड विल ब्रिंग वाटर एंड टाइड विल टेक आल्सो. सो ऐसा होता है कि व्हेन द टाइड इज कमिंग दैट इज फ्लड, एंड व्हेन द टाइड इज गोइंग दैट इज ebb. अब पूर्वी कह रहे हैं आई डिड नॉट कनेक्ट. अरे बच्चे जब आप पढ़ रहे हो, एंड वी स्टार्टेड विद ओशनोग्राफी, वी स्टार्टेड विद कोस्टल लैंडफॉर्म. दैट इज व्हाई आई से इफ यू आर मैकेनिकली डूइंग योर होमवर्क डायग्राम बुक एंड यू आर नॉट ट्रांसफरिंग इट, इट इज ऑफ नो यूज. एंड प्लीज स्टार्ट रिस्पेक्टिंग दिस वर्ड, वन ऑफ द रीजन. अब कुछ लोग जिज्ञासु बालक, यस क्यूरियस काइंड्स, दे वुड से सर व्हाट इज द वेटेज ऑफ दिस रीजन? Which one is more? Is the vertical fall more or this thing more? First of all, we are not doing a quantitative study. We are not doing a quantitative study. Exactly what is the contribution? Number one. Second thing is from what we understand. I think the slope dynamics has more to play. Tide is a minor force, so that would be the answer. But then there are people who would want the answer to come exactly from the teacher. Then only they will understand. So the teacher will not step back in explaining. He will definitely explain you with the hope that such a simple explanation will encourage you, will give you the power that you can also think and live. If that is happening, I have absolutely no objection in answering all possible questions. But if that is not happening, bachcho, you can understand there will be infinite number of questions, and even then 2 questions can come from outside. Do we get this? A simple concept. अगर यहाँ पे question में होता waves, तो भी तो मानना पड़ता same understanding. Would it not be the same understanding? Yes, that is why I gave everyone a homework. What is high energy coast? What is low energy coast? In one of the coast, waves end up depositing, and in another coast, the waves end up taking away. I explained that in oceanography also. So again a request. Absolutely okay, you ask questions, but again a request for all GS and optional preparations. Students who are able to carry things with them. That's why, like I keep on saying, like jo class miss hua usko kar lo. Please make sure you do that class, because when you do that class or when you repeat that class, your learning is reinforced. Please do that. That is the difference between students who clear the examination and students who are not able to clear the exam. Is everyone okay? And everyone can be for the coming 2 years. For the coming 2 years, make academic excellence as our primary task. Get that? So I went to the college. Moment I entered the college, I said, "Padhai nahi karni. This is an amazing place to do other things, not just studies." So my primary task was, like experience college. Padhai karte the exam se pehle I would study, no doubt about that. Get that? When I went into a career, yes. When I left education and education के बाद जब career में आ गए, I said, here learning is my prime task. I traveled across the world, no doubt about that. I said, there's so many things to learn, so many life skills, so many technical skills, so many survival skills to learn. I enjoyed each and every bit of it. That was my primary task. Get that? Other things also happened. Now I'm saying you want to clear a very big impediment to your dream, civil services examination, and the ticket to that is an academic exam. Can you make it your primary task? You keep on doing everything, no doubt about that. Attend weddings, meet friends, call up people, go for some games, watch TV, watch movies, everything. The primary task is this. So when I'm done with my movie, thinking, linking hona chahiye. 2 years. Just do it for 2 years. I guarantee. Sow this seed. A beautiful plant will come. Sow this seed. Primary task is academic excellence. So if I get a book, I should not be, oh my God, will question come from here or not? I have to do. And these things and links will also happen. Do we get that? So I'm not saying only study. I'm saying that's my primary task. That's my primary task. The days you had fallen in love, then the primary task was she or he. Yes, sir. दिन में भी रात में भी सोते में भी जागते में भी बस वही दिख रहा था. Can we convert that as a primary task? There will be primary things and secondary things also. Is everyone okay? So I hope I gave the answer to Purvi, and through Purvi all others. Please think and link. These are very, very simple things. Abhi somebody sent me a question. They said, sir, in a Telegram channel, somebody is asking, is Borneo an island? Borneo an island because on its northern side there is Malaysia or niche hai. So kya Borneo island hai? Some state PCS has asked this question. So somebody was discussing. So somebody asked me this. I said, tell that person to look at the atlas. Why intellectualize hawa mein? This happens in coachings where the teacher is just giving pravachan and students are taking pravachan. Have we not started talking about islands? Remember we said the largest island of the world is Greenland. फिर उसके बाद New Guinea Island when we did our foundation. फिर उसके बाद Borneo and the fourth one is Madagascar. ये चार तो ऐसे ही बोल दिया था आपको याद करने के लिए. यहाँ चचा पूछ रहे हैं कि आइलैंड है. इसके नॉर्थ पार्ट में तो क्या है, मलेशिया, क्या लेते हो? बट क्यों इस पे टाइम वेस्ट किया जाए? शुड वी वेस्ट टाइम ऑन सच अ पर्सन? देयर आर मेनी पीपल हु आर हियर फॉर सिविल सर्विसेज जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ इट, कि कुछ नहीं है, मम्मा पापा विल नॉट आस्क एनी क्वेश्चंस इफ वी आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर सिविल सर्विस। यस, बाकी पूरा दिन मसाला चल रहा है उसका, मसाले पे दिन निकाल रहा हूँ, बट बात बड़ी करेंगे। So don't waste your time on that. I have a request. Be into actual academic excellence. When you get such questions, no, distance yourself from such elements. कोई काम की बात नहीं करेंगे ये लोग, ये क्वेश्चन ही नहीं। प्रॉब्ली क्यों बनाया क्वेश्चन, क्वेश्चन के लिए क्वेश्चन। ठीक है, चलिए तो बात करते हैं अर्थ की। Let us start. So the question has been answered, the doubt has been taken care of. We're talking about geodynamics. Okay, we're talking about lithosphere. What is lithosphere, everyone? What is lithosphere? Lithosphere is the outer rocky layer. Outer rocky layer. Get it? So British is saying, sir, it is crust plus outer mantle. So many students are saying crust plus outer mantle. I'm so glad that you remember that. But I'm talking about 100 years ago. 100 years ago, we did not know anything about it. We only knew that lithosphere is the rocky layer upon which we are standing. And there were people who were out of curiosity, wondering why it is the way it is. Why is the lithosphere the way it is? Why are there some islands? Why there are some continents? Why there are some oceans? Why not everywhere? Why not everywhere continents? Why not full land? Okay. Why islands are separated? If Sri Lanka was a part of India, तो आज ये दिन तो नहीं देखना पड़ता. True or not? But then there is no guarantee, even if like Sri Lanka was touching India and it was still a separate country like Pakistan, तो पाकिस्तान वाला दिन भी नहीं देखना पड़ता. Yes or no? So what we are looking at is, we are not looking at the human geography of it. We are not looking at what are the human beings doing on it. We are looking at the physical geography of it. That what went into the nature, that would have done that. And when we don't understand anything, then what do we do? Divine causes. Say for example, I want to talk about this father of modern geography. His name is Carl Ritter. Yes, Carl Ritter says geographer's task is to unfold the divine plan. कितना सुंदर बताया. मतलब इनके विचार कंगना रनौत से कितने मिलते हैं. है geographer. He's the first head of the like geography department in Germany. ठीक है, academic, total academic. तो पढ़ा क्या रहे हैं, वो बोलते हैं कि माउंटेन देखो, प्लेन देखो, प्लेटो देखो, and admire what would have gone in the mind of God when he created this. Why did he create a mountain? Because this is God's plan. This is like a puzzle that you're solving. Well, I don't know. I can give it to Ritter that maybe he created a game for his students. Like I create games for you and then you all are trapped. तुम सब गलत करते हो. Yes, sir? So today I am making fun of him. ऐसे बोल दे. Maybe he created a game. He wanted curiosity in his students and he said, देखो पता करो कि भगवान के दिमाग में क्या होगा ये बनाया. And why do we say like why God's creation? Because what science developed. Science has got many things which are yet to be unfolded, and there are things which are happening beyond science. True or not? So that's why they say science is not enough. Science is not enough. Yes, sir. Science is सब कुछ नहीं होता है. Objectivity is not enough. Classes are not enough. Class, no matter what I do, it's your mood. True or not? Some of you are missing classes. And then you come after 3 days. Oh my God, I missed it. You are deciding. So science is not enough. Class is not enough. That's what we're talking about. So science requires what? Humanities also. Humanities is, can I say, science by nature. Science by nature is objective. मैं तो इसको बोलता हूँ cold hearted. Yes, sir. So you have a wound on this, and the doctor puts a sticks a band-aid on it, all glued and everything. So now he wants to change the dressing. So how do you change the dressing? वो पट्टी कैसे हटाते हो? थोड़ा हटाते हो, little bit, yes, little by little, and it's paining also. But when you go to the hospital, what does he do? The ward boy or the doctor or the compounder, ऐसे पकड़ा सब करके हटा दिया. True or not? Cruel people, but that's science. Yes, sir. Science says press the button and the missile comes out and it kills. Science is not enough. There comes humanities. Should I press the button or not? Yes, sir. That's where the value system comes. So this is what Ritter is doing. Because he did not have science to his support, he probably brought imagination to his support, and he says, unfold the divine plan. क्या होगा भगवान के दिमाग में पता करो. ठीक है. So these were the times that was happening, and people said that God who has created, the creator, is wise. So all landforms are created by God. They are permanent. True or not? तो बनाए गए हैं, किसने बनाया? गॉड ने बनाया भाई. You are looking at that Adams Bridge between India and Sri Lanka. Do you know that or not? Do you know of Adams Bridge? एक इसका नाम चेंज होना है ना, ये अभी तक गोरों का नाम चल रहा है. आई थिंक दे शुड चेंज बाय नाउ. राम सेतु. देखो सौरभ बिल्कुल सही कह रहा है. सौरभ इसका नाम चेंज होना है बिल्कुल. आई थिंक दिस इज अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग कंटेंडर. वन मोर न्यू नेम. आई थिंक इस महीने ये ट्राई कर सकते हैं. द गवर्नमेंट कैन ऑल्सो कम अप विद दिस प्रपोजल. बट वैसे पार्लियामेंट में काफी इंटरेस्टिंग काम चल रहा है. सो लेट्स कंटिन्यू विद दैट. सो एवरीवन, this bridge, you decide that how was this created. You're wondering curiously. Okay, you go to Rameswaram, sacred place. You're very happy with the visit of Rameswaram. आप एकदम धन्य महसूस कर रहे हैं. And then you come and you say ये भी देख कर आता हूँ. And when you look at this as a geography student, you start wondering how was it created. What if this bridge was not there? And what if this bridge was wider? तब तो ऐसे walk करके जा सकते थे. Yes or no? You're wondering like this. So what should be done to you? Nonsense. क्या दिमाग लगा रहे? This was created by God. True or no? God's desire permanency. Permanency of landform was the original idea. Permanency of landforms was the original idea. And I'm talking about the global level. But there are scientists who are looking at it, and they were generally, like very, very curious about the shapes of the continents. If I'm looking at Africa, it seems that it fits. Africa को अगर यहाँ पे लाया जाए, so Africa will fit over here. Sorry, South America will fit into Africa. Jigsaw fit. But then that's just imagination, no? That's just imagination. True, that's just imagination. Nobody thought that this is true. Imagination aati hai because there was no way of looking at it, and we believe that 1 and 2 are stationary. They are where they are. You know? Many people looked into it, but many people were able to come to only one thing. They are where they are. It might have been कि ये लोग आपस में चिपके हुए थे. You know? So this is the existing paradigm. Some scholars had contrarian views. Their views were different. What do I mean by contrarian views? They thought, something else. No, that is possible. They had contrarian views. They thought that landforms may be modified. But they had no proof of it. And here we get a scientist. His name is Alfred Wegener, who in 1909 talks about a proof to this, and he is able to present something which is called as continental drift hypothesis. Is everyone okay? Have we talked about continental drift hypothesis in any of the classes before this? Main classes में तो मैंने बात नहीं की. I think I just talked about the Earth's interior. That's where I had stopped. This is what I am proposing. In the early 20th century, geological thought was dominated by antiquity of geographic permanence. So the first idea is geographic permanence. Landforms are where they are. Okay. Mountains are thought to be the result of Earth's cooling. Remember, I told you wrinkles somewhere. If you remember my discussion, mountains are nothing but the wrinkles on the surface. So that was what was thought of. Change in sea level and occurrence of fossils at the depth was explaining using contraction model. So where is water? Water lies in between these mountains. And if you squeeze more, if the more shrinking happens, the water will rise up and sink. And where are the fossils? Fossils have gone down into the mountains. So this was the early idea. And I really want to emphasize this, keeping in mind mains. ये हमेशा आपका context हो सकता है. Context to answers on topics like sea floor spreading, continental drift hypothesis, plate tectonics. What is the context? Permanence of landforms. Is everyone okay? So if you're starting an answer on continental drift hypothesis, anything that we are talking of today, you can very well start with the idea that, like initially it was thought of that all landforms are permanent where they are, they belong to that only. Is everyone okay? But with time, this was challenged, and this is where they stand today. Everyone okay with this? Yahan tak clear? Now can we see from this diagram? Now this is one diagram which I would want you to put it in your diagram book. ये सविंदर सिंह में भी दिया हुआ है. ठीक है? If you can draw number one and number 5, that is enough for me. So not others. Well, no need. What we will do is we will put arrows on number 1. This went here, 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 this one went here, and then we will show this. Is everyone okay? So be smart. Not all 5 are needed. Can we say the idea says that continents have been drifting apart? So in my diagram book, I am simplifying things also. So diagram number 1 and diagram number 5. This is there in NCRT also. This is there in Savin Singh also. From there, I want to come to this one. Okay. So can we write something about this so that the diagram is also with you and we can support it with some writing? So continental drift hypothesis. The age-old idea of permanence of landforms. Permanence of landforms that captured the geomorphic imagination till 20th century was challenged by the revolutionary hypothesis proposed by Alfred Wegener, a German geologist and climatologist. A German geologist and climatologist. In his lectures in 1912, he put forward the idea of continents moving on the face of Earth. Continents moving on face of Earth, like icebreakers, cutting through sea ice. There were certain views. Contrary to the existing permanence paradigm. What is the paradigm? A point of view. Yes, a belief. There were certain views contrary to the permanence paradigm, even before Wegener challenged it. But these views in bracket Taylor and Baker, 1910. But these views were never scientifically backed. Wegener, thus in true sense, was the first one to challenge the existing ideas through his hypothesis called continental drift hypothesis, published in his famous book Origin of by mistake I wrote species. There's so much Darwinism in my mind. Origin of continents and oceans in 1915. So पहले इसको समझ लेते. What is the difference? What is he doing, and how things have changed for him? Let us try and understand that. (1915) 1915. So there were people who had observed this. Observed what? This similarity on the coastline, and that the similarity can cause, if we bring the continents together, they can fit into each other. So this was always there. Okay, this is called the jigsaw fit. The jigsaw fit. Taylor and Baker जो मैंने लिखा है. In 1910, they said the Americas and Europe and Africa seemed to be connected together in past. So we won't have the time to explain, like Taylor and Baker. I'm just saying that they did not substantiate. They said, हमें लगता है, our views are there, but like we also think that this is just imagination, so they are not pushing it as a scientific view. But here we have a geologist who is looking into it, and he's saying, no, they were actually together. All these continents were together and he says that there was a jigsaw fit. Today's continent, if I look at them, everyone, can you see this can fit here because this was a part of it? Can you see this? North America, North America can today it is separated by Greenland, but this all is connected. So can you see this is connected? Get that? And even Antarctica, when we are talking about Antarctica, was connected to India and Australia. So he says, I think that they were together. I think they were together. Now comes the question: how is he different? How is his proposal different from Taylor and Baker? Now he is going to back it with science. So he has scientific evidences. Okay? So he has a hypothesis, and the hypothesis is based on evidences. Hypothesis is based on evidences. Now, if you have evidences, sir, why don't you call it a theory? Well, I observed something. Can I say these are observations? These are empirical observations. Based on observations, what do? You hypothesize. You convert the observations into a general statement. That's hypothesis. Yes. And then you test your hypothesis. When you test it, it becomes law. So now that I'm talking to you and I'm saying continental drift is a hypothesis, does that clearly tell you? Okay, this was not proved? Okay, this was not proved. So that is what we are going to do. So let us cite the hypothesis first. What is the hypothesis? Hypothesis says, number one, around 300 million years ago, all continents were joined together to form a supercontinent, which was called as Pangaea. This is Earth. This was Pangaea. Is everyone okay? All land masses were together. All land masses were touching each other. They were together. Everyone clear on this? When? 300 million years ago. 300 million years ago. Geological time scale, what time is this? Geological time scale, what time is this? Is it Precambrian or Postcambrian? Is it Precambrian or Postcambrian? Postcambrian. Okay. Is it Paleozoic, Mesozoic, Cenozoic? Paleozoic, Mesozoic, Cenozoic. तो देखो सौरभ बोला आर्कियन, सौरभ तुम्हें तो पता ही नहीं, ठीक है, रिवाइज करो. Paleozoic. This is Paleozoic. Paleozoic, remember cos DCP? Yes, no? Cos DCP. What was cos? Cambrian, Ordovician, Silurian, Devonian, Carboniferous, Permian. Do I remember that? आपको भी याद रखना. Cos DCP. तो ये कहीं पर cos का टाइम चल रहा है. Remember cos D. This is the time. Because remember cos starts 543 million years. वो कनेक्शन रखना है, ठीक है. So that is what I'm just connecting with you. So that is when Pangaea, all land was together and it was surrounded by a world ocean. What was that called? Panthalassa. 300 million years ago, in the Paleozoic time, all the land masses were together, and that is where. This is around 200 years, around 200 million years. Pangaea broke. ये कौन सा आ गया? कार्बोनिफेरस के पास. Yes. So if you remember, 543 to 25, somewhere around that. Carboniferous. उसके बाद क्या है? Triassic, Jurassic, Cretaceous. Yes, sir. So at the edge of it, cos DCP, cos D, यहाँ पर CP, and उसके बाद Mesozoic आ जाएगा. Somewhere here. Yes, sir. So that's the time when Pangaea begins to break. When Pangaea broke, and the northern component is called Angara land, and the southern component is called Gondwana land. Is everyone okay? So when you are making this diagram, it would be better, everyone. It would be better if you can signify the time also. Breakup of Pangaea shown in the figure, inferred motion of this thing. So when we are talking about breakup of this thing, can you see they have written cos DCP Permian 225 million years? तो यहाँ पर breakup हो रहा है. Is everyone okay? 225. And then we come into Triassic, late Triassic, 180 तक टूटना शुरू हो गया. So if that idea is there, you must understand. And this is where, when these cracks are there, remember world's carbon and coal is from Carboniferous. Do you understand? Those rift valleys were created and the sediments went inside the cellulosic material, and उस वजह से ये बना होगा. Everyone with me on this? ठीक है. तो आपको ये भी ध्यान देना पड़ेगा, because now you are an optional student. We want you to have that. Jurassic में क्या हुआ? Jurassic में और टूट गया. India is coming north. Can you see India is coming north? What is this? Cretaceous, and this is present. So I'm saying you can say Pangaea begins. This is where Pangaea begins, and this is where the present state is. So can you see Pangaea has broken into two? North, they are calling it Laurasia, and Gondwana. Would you want to write that also in the figure? यहाँ पर भी बना सकते हैं कि टूटना शुरू हुआ है. This will be called Laurasia and that will be Gondwana. So this is his hypothesis with the years also. You must keep that in mind because I've seen people just drawing it and not seeing it. So I'm saying you can make one diagram, you can make two also. Ye do bana diye, 1, 2, and this fifth one. So here you can say Pangea, 215 million years, and Pangea begins to break and it breaks into. And can we see that this also will break further? This also will break further. So ये टूटा और यहाँ पर भी टूट गया कि नहीं? So now we are saying that even Angara and Gondwana, Angara is also called as Laurasia. Angara broke, Gondwana broke into North America, Eurasia, South America, Africa, Antarctica, Indo-Austral region. Clear? Now I really want to congratulate this guy called Wegener. कि भाई उस time पे when the world doesn't believe you, when there is no counter this thing, you are doing this. That's really amazing. True or not? आपको तो दिमाग आया नहीं, but he's getting that. And as I asked you to do that, can we make academic excellence as our primary task? So his primary task is inquiry. So when you're doing that, you start seeing the truth very, very clearly. So he was observing everything. So please pay attention. Just like Purvi asked the question and she feels that I did not think and link. This guy is an expert in think and link. Think and link. Okay, now what? This is the world. This is equator. Get that? And this person is studying land also here and this thing. So when he's studying the land, he finds glacial sediments over here, glacial tills or sediments. Now doesn't fit. Like Purvi said, the tide is causing estuaries. I don't understand. So he's also at the stage, I don't understand. That's okay, but observation is there. No? Purvi read the book, so she says, book make line. I saw a line over there. So this guy saw this. He finds coal seams, coal beds, coal seams here, and some coral reef sediments also. Two things. Then when he looks at the continents, he finds that the rock here and the rock here are exactly the same. They seem to be their lithology. Not only the mountains are there, the rocks are there, the lithology is also similar on either side. So what is this? Rock similarity. True. Rock similarity is also there. Then to his surprise, he finds that this is certain fossils were found on all the Gondwana members, FFF. Get it? Which again was a surprise to him. Fossil means F stands for fossil. So fossils are the bones and the remains and like whatever the imprints are left after everything is destroyed from animals and even plants. So they are plants and animals which got trapped in those sedimentary layers. Now they have decomposed, but their imprints, so photo khicha hua. That is the fossil. So he finds all the fossils, similar fossils of animals and plants. An animal called Mesosaurus, freshwater reptile, and Lossopteris. It is a fern. So all these observations are there, and he's a trained climatologist or meteorologist, and he's a trained geologist also. So it is a very, very big coincidence. It's a very, very big coincidence that exactly same rocks are on either side. Very big coincidence that God created it. वो जो आप कहते हैं ना भगवान ने बनाया. ये जो S-shaped, remember the mid-oceanic ridge is S-shaped. This is not possible. It seems like that they were together. Somebody has cracked them because वहाँ से continuation लगता है. So just imagine, like you are unhappy, पढ़ते पढ़ते बोर हो गया, तुमने गुस्से में आके NCERT फाड़ दिया. Get that? And then suddenly you realize this is the most important NCERT. इसी से तो question आता है. Yes. बल्कि वो NCERT ने गलती से लक्ष्मीकांत फाड़ दिया तुमने. NCERT सोचकर. Now how will you read it? वापस लाके जोड़ेगा. Okay. How do you connect it? The word should be complete or not. So do you have the sense of connecting it? He says that is possible. We can connect them rock by rock. So it is not possible until unless these letters are from the same book. So he has observed. What is he doing? Think and link. Now he says glacial tills are not possible in tropical latitudes. How is it possible that glacial sediments? Remember moraines. Moraines यहाँ पर क्या कर रहे हैं? This is a tropical area. Ice will never come. No. Ice ages are there. Ice ages are there, but they will not come close to the equator. Okay. And coal and coral reefs. These are all tropical ones. Tropical things captured where? In the temperate lands. Tropical things in temperate land, polar things in tropical land. ये क्या है? This is this tropical, polar, temperate. These are climate belts. This is either the climate belts were different. Maybe equator was very cold and poles were very hot. He said, what nonsense? Poles cannot be hot because of that whole science of angle of incidence and everything. Equator has to be hot. So he says climate belt have not changed. So if climate belt has not changed, maybe these areas, these land masses were not here. Maybe a landmass was in polar and today it is there in tropical. So his hypothesis, think and link, tells him no, they are moving. The first one is also telling them they are moving. Yes or no? Third thing, like when he looks at that, these fossils, he said fossils, all the fossils, how is it possible? Say, for example, I was talking about this in my environment class yesterday, that Hindu newspaper said kangaroos were found, illegal poachers had left kangaroos in Bengal in a raid. Yes or no? We were wondering, kangaroo aaya kaise West Bengal? That's not possible. Yes or no? Everyone is wondering, kangaroo aaya kaise? So trust me, Australian migration से निकलना बहुत मुश्किल है भाई. Immigration से कुछ नहीं निकल सकते. I remember, like I went to Australia once. Means on the ship I went many times. Once I joined through Australia, so I landed in Adelaide. So when we were getting our luggage and all cleared customs, so there was a woman from, I think, somewhere Southeast Asia, maybe Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, two women, and I could see them. They had fear on their face. Everything, like you could see that they are in distress. So we didn't know what is happening, and then like the people, the customs people came, and they had two sniffer dogs also. So the dogs are also sniffing these women, and the charge was drug trafficking. So यहाँ पर आप kangaroo निकाल के दिखाओ. You go to Australia, get a kangaroo बैग में रख के लेकर आओ. Kangaroo सब निकाल देगा तुम्हारा. True or not? So what I'm wondering is, how did kangaroo come? So kangaroo would have come through the zoos. Zoos में exchange होता है. तो इंडिया में zoo में आ गया. Zoo में से भी निकालना चाहते हैं. Indians तो Indian है ना. घर में भी रखेगा तो क्या रखेगा? Kangaroo रखेगा. ये नहीं पता when the kangaroo grows up थप्पड़ मार दिया ना उसको गुस्से में. That would be a last थप्पड़. जोर का जोर से. True or not? Kangaroo रखेगा. Wild animal. ये सुनो. Kangaroo kick कर सकता है. Kangaroo कुछ भी कर सकता है. तुम उसे कुची कुची करके बड़ा करते हो, वो माँ का कर्ज अदा कर देगा एक ही दिन में. True. So we were wondering, how did it come? So now this fellow is also facing the same thing. He has fossils of animals, Mesosaurus everywhere. अब ये Mesosaurus किस चीज से चलता था ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा. इसके पास कौन सा था? एयर इंडिया तो बंद हो गई. ये विस्तारा से चलता था. How was he moving? True or not? मतलब how can? Kingfisher से चलता था. और एक Glossopteris fern ये कैसे चल रहा था? Across the ocean सब जगह पे मिलता है. पुष्पक विमान मधुकर इस same. So कुछ तो होगा. जिससे भैया ये चल नहीं सकते. They can't cross the oceans. Divyansh बोला है, these are good swimmers. Perfectly okay good swimmers. Divyansh, the problem with good swimmer argument is these are freshwater reptiles. If you put them in sea water, they टपक जाएगा. So the river fish cannot survive in the oceans. So that's also there. And fern तो बेचारी plants. Imagine you put a plant in the water and expect it to travel. वो पहले होता था ना, कबूतर के ऊपर चिट्ठी बांध के लिखी है. Writing a letter and tying it to the leg of a pigeon. And that level go, and then the girl will sing kabutar ja 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 प्यार का संदेशा लेकर जाए and all those things. And then there is the villain sitting in between and with his गुलेल कबूतर की टांग तोड़ेगा. Yes, kabutar will be hunted. Secret message discoded. ऐसे ना पहले जेम्स बॉन्ड टाइप मूवीज में कबूतर ढूंढ ये उसकी टांग पकड़ इसमें से निकाल ऐसा है. Poor कबूतर. Yes, I can see her. Like even the pigeon would not reach destination. Imagine that letter reaches to the wrong one. गलत के पास चला गया तो दिक्कत है कि नहीं? So there was so much of things. Yes. So क्या कहते हैं? Ukraine releases this thing, a pigeon towards west, okay, Western Europe. वो pigeon उड़ते उड़ते turns around and goes towards Putin. सारा secret out. वहीं तो पकड़ा गया लोग. कबूतर से they were sending a message. They were saying कबूतरबाजी. They were saying join NASA, join NASA. कबूतर भेजा है रोज. Then he wrote later, I will love to join NASA. One कबूतर went wrong. खबर चली गई. So what we are wondering is, how would a fern, a plant which will die if the climate change and everything happens, how will it survive? And उसका क्या मतलब है? मतलब वो सारे continents पे जाके टच करते आ रहे हैं. Akshay saying India defeated Australia in World Cup. What a gift. Akshay, that I understand. India got a gift. Where did the poacher get it? India का gift चोरी कैसे किया? Yes or no? There are so many idols. मंदिर की मूर्तियां. Yes, sacred मूर्तियां. Many of the temples have fake ones. असली वाली तो निकल चुकी है. पुजारी साहब खा गए. Have you heard of these things? The real idols are missing. That's such a cheating with the faith. और real idol कहाँ मिलेगा? कोई म्यूजियम में वेस्ट में वो स्मगल भी कर चुका है. The reality is there. True or not? So what we are talking about is this man is thinking and linking, and he says, see, all these things can be possibly explained by only one thing, that these things have moved. These things have moved. Saurabh is saying original gems and stones have been smuggled. Yes, Saurabh, that's a very unfortunate truth. Yes. And Saurabh, will we blame the Britishers for that? Gora log? Who is to be blamed? Indians. And Indians maybe who is to be blamed? Other religions? दूसरे religion वो लोग चोरी करके क्या? हिमांशु सिंह अभी भी होता है बिल्कुल. So क्या ऐसे लालच तो कहीं भी आ सकता है. Yes, these people, greedy people, playing with the faith, and they're playing with the faith of any religion. True, just absolutely greed. Anyways, let us not get into that. Let us get into what Wagner is. So Wagner तो ठीक लग रहा है मुझे. Wagner बेचारा सोच रहा है, think and link कर रहा है. He did not write UPSC, but pass तो हो जाता है. Yes, sir. So he says this can only be explained that in the past all this kachra was together, All the plants and animals were on this only, and it is not the climate belt which has shifted. What has shifted? These continents have shifted. Is everyone okay? So, सबने बना भी लिया. Everyone, were you able to make this also? Now we're going to go into the evidences. They've asked us the question straight on evidence itself. Short note on the glacial evidence. Short note on the lithological or rock evidence. Short note on the fossil evidence. Short note on the glacial evidence. Do we understand? Understand the concept? लिखना क्या वो तो यहाँ पर दिया हुआ है. 1858 Antonio Snyder Pellegrini produced a map shows America continent they were together. उससे पहले भी किसी ने कहा था, ठीक है. 1910 I told you Taylor and Baker they published an article presenting evidence favoring hypothesis. So this was that. Nevertheless, credit for full scale hypothesis goes to Wegener and in his 1912 lectures, and then later on he wrote his book also. The thing is, his book was written in German. Get that? And it got translated into English in 1924. Is everyone okay? Wegener's hypothesis we have written. What is the hypothesis? Fit. So can I say this is the old idea? Before him also others had talked about this. So this fit is called the jigsaw fit. What do we call it? Jigsaw fit. This is one evidence. This is one evidence that like if jigsaw is happening, so they must be together. ऐसा लगता है. ठीक है? Fossil evidence, Glossopteris. कहाँ पर मिल गया? अफ्रीका, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, साउथ अमेरिका. Mesozoic time में होता था. Later remote है. Mesosaurus, capable of swimming only in shallow waters. वो भी मिल गया. Yes or no? Other than that, we have other animals also. This is Mesosaurus, this is Glossopteris, this is Leptosaurus, and this is Synganth. क्या है? So Mesozoic animals, Mesozoic reptiles, they were there and they have been found here. Can you see that? He says all this is possible only if all this was one. Two evidences. Now this diagram, I'm just saying that from the exam point of view, we need to draw this. अब ये नहीं कर सकते. If you can't draw this, can you write the names over there? Just write the names. Figure बनाने की जरूरत नहीं. क्योंकि कबूतर बना के दिखा रहे हैं. You don't have to show the figure. Rock type. Did I tell you the rock type? Continental drift puzzle. Northwest Africa and Eastern Brazil. They were having similar lithology, similar fault lines. Everything was same. He says that come on, this is not possible. Evidence has supported in both the region 550 million year old rock lie adjacent to the rock, dated more than 2 billion years. So exactly same दिखाई दे रहा है उसको वहाँ पर. Several mountain belts which appear to terminate on the coastline. They end on the coastline. They seem to reappear over there. Yes or no? Mountain belt that include the Appalachian trend northeastward, USA of course of Newfoundland mountains comparable to that are found in Greenland. So Greenland में continuation दिखाई देता है. Northern Europe में you can see a continuation of that. Yes. So remember that torn what we were talking about Lakshmikant फाड़ दिया तो क्या होगा? It is just as if we were to refit a torn piece of a newspaper by matching their edges and then check whether the lines of the print run smoothly across. If they do, there is nothing left to conclude that they were a part of it. अगर वो जुड़ रहा है तो isn't it a big proof in itself? Yes. Next is paleomagnetic evidence. Wegener, as a climatologist by training, obtained paleoclimatic, sorry, not paleomagnetic, paleoclimatic data support. So he's looking at the glacial deposits. Where are the glacial deposits? They are found in Africa, so South America, India, Australia. They have glaciation, but they presently lie within 30 degrees. So glacial deposits were within 30 degrees. Coal fields were Siberia. Coal in Siberia. How is that possible? Tropical things in temperate region or polar region. So that is what compelled him. That there was a compelling evidence. It took almost 50 years for the scientific community. ये जो last वाला है 50 years. इसकी हम बात करेंगे अभी. Does everyone have the diagrams also? Paleoclimatic evidence also. Is everyone okay? Do we have the understanding in diagrams? If I don't dictate anything on this, chalega. The material handout will be posted on the update section. I think till internal structure I have posted, so today we'll be posting this also. Everyone okay? So 1925, when this book is published in English, the English people totally rejected it. English-speaking world not only rejected it, they denounced it. Denounced मतलब they totally said that this is bogus. This is anti-national. भाई क्या बात कर रहा है? पागल हो गए. They said he is a shame to science. He is a shame to any scientific world. इस आदमी को जीने का हक नहीं. This person should not live. He is such a disrepute. Sheikh Saleh is saying Eurocentric. No, Sheikh Saleh, this is not a Eurocentric idea. You can see he's not just talking about Europe. And who is criticizing him? Europeans criticizing Europeans. So how can it be Eurocentric? They found it unscientific. So that, tell me one thing. If somebody came and said that humans can fly before the idea of an aeroplane, would people have laughed on that or not? Yes. Have you heard of Edison who made bulb? People laughed. Yes or no? और वो कौन था for radio waves? Marconi. People declared him mad. He said you can listen to far distance waves. And today, can we talk to anyone on the phone? सोचिए anywhere in the world talk क्या तो हम देख भी सकते हैं. Yes, sir. So people would have considered them as fool or not. So his ideas were ahead of time. They said you are telling us that continents can move. Continent can move. This is what you have understood in science. पता ना हिंदी मूव में इस दिन के लिए पाल पोस के बड़ा किया था. This is what you have learned in science. What is happening in Germany? Are you people fools or what? You are saying the continent will move. And who will move it? अच्छा बताओ. Who can move the continent? So ये तो बोले ना इनको पता नहीं. इधर अगर हमसे पूछते हैं, so do we need anything else? हनुमान जी can move anything. True or not? फालतू में उनका imagination इतना कम था, वो मान ही नहीं यार इसको. So Wegener said that, well, I have my evidences. Can't you see jigs of it? Can't you see jigs of it? देख लो आप लोग चेक कर लो. So they said, tell us one thing, that if something looks like fitting, that doesn't mean it was over there. True or not? लगी तो ना है, imagination है. Yes or no? So I am coming back in my teenage days, yes, and I felt very nice talking to her. I'm in a very romantic mood, and I see in the clouds something like this. A cloud is there, yes, and I see this is my heart. ऐसे दिखाई देगा कि नहीं देगा? है तो cloudy. Even if there are 4-5 clouds like that, I will construct an heart out of it. कर दूंगा कि नहीं? That doesn't mean heart. That's just my mood. I was in a romantic mood. आज उसने अच्छे से बात की. True or not? I said nonsense. We don't see a heart over there. तुमको लग रहा है कि jigs of it है? This is nonsense. And they said you cannot be more unscientific. He says why? Tell us one thing. Did Sachin sir not teach you in geomorphology that the coastal or coastlines are constantly changing? True or not? You are telling us 300 million years coastline has not changed. Coastline is same. Why coastline keeps on modifying? कल किसी ने homework submit किया कि नहीं? Remember, cutting से coastline becomes straight. Initially the coastline is like this, yes or no? Eventually what will happen? This will become straight. ऐसा बन जाएगा कि नहीं? Clip बनाया था. Somebody has submitted the homework yesterday, did not give, वो सिर्फ ये वाला profile बनाया उन्होंने, but did not make this. So aren't coastline very dynamic? They said, look, this fellow calls himself as a scientist. Coastlines are constantly being recreated by the waves. No. You are telling us entire North America, entire South America, entire Europe, entire Africa, the coastline remains same because one day they have to fit. मेरे करण अर्जुन आएंगे, पागल हो गए क्या? True or not? They said you can't be a bigger fool. Second, you are saying the continent moved. This Mesosaurus cannot move. अरे इसका पूरा खानदान मूव करेगा यार. जैसे सब मूव करेगा उसमें क्या टेंशन है यार? See, if I have to choose between Mesosaurus moving and continent moving, they said we will vote for Mesosaurus moving. How can a continent move यार? अगर हो गया होगा, maybe like उसको ऐसे मिल गया, एक log मिल गया, उस पर वो बैठ गया, Mesosaurus बैठ गया उस पर, and the log floated, चलते, एक बार पहुंचना था उसको, once पहुंच गया तो हो गया. True or not? But then I'm wondering, अकेला गया होगा तो asexual reproduction तो है नहीं. Yes sir, she would have also gone. But then I was reminded of Titanic and the log, he and she. ये लोग डेट पे निकले सर्फिंग के लिए and they went. Lucky pair, and not one other continents also. So ये बढ़िया था. So they said better than at least continent moving. No, this is possible. Nonsense. ठीक है मान लिया. Yes, fern and all. They said haven't you heard pollination? हवा में कुछ उसका चला गया होगा. That is that. Continent move कर रहा है. How is it possible? So Wegener said no. I have all the proof and all that. How would you do this? How would you talk about these fossils? The rock similarities. I said ठीक है rock है उधर है. They can be similarities. It's a coincidence. We agree it's a coincidence. हो जाता है नहीं हो जाता coincidence. Is coincidence possible or not? It is a coincidence. They said it is just a coincidence, nothing else. They said, for a minute, if you assume that you are not a fool, you are a true scientist and all that, can you tell us who moved the continents? Who moved the continents? Okay. So last week, people in Maharashtra saw such things in the sky. They saw such things in the sky. Maharashtra. Hear that? Gujarat also. वहाँ पे दिखाई दिया. Now they're saying these are ghosts, evil spirits. Hear that? Is that correct or not? No, sir, that's not correct. So I tell them no. These are what? These are comet showers. ऐसे बोलते हैं कि नहीं? Comet shower हैं which entered Earth's atmosphere as meteors and then turned into meteor. Yes. कुछ नहीं चाइना का हाथ ठीक है. China testing. कुछ भी बना सकते हैं. So A hypothesis is this, B hypothesis is this, C hypothesis is this. All three are there. True or not? Now I don't know anything. I don't know much about it, but I know something that comet showers come. And these people believe that these are ghosts and evil spirits. अब हम दोनों की लड़ाई हो रही है. True or not? So I tell them that there have been previous incidents where comet showers have happened, meteorites have come. So this is there. True. They are saying that this is ghost, evil spirits, this is China. Yes, possible. I am fighting with them. Now they say that prove that this is comet. Prove that this is comet. Get that? Now I say, okay, next spacecraft, I am taking a spacecraft, I will go and check which comet was there. Won't there be a bigger fool than me? Why should I say yes? I would say, you prove that there are ghosts. You prove that they are ghosts. You prove that they are wrong. But I am showing you exactly what a comet shower has happened in the past. I also see some specimen. There is dust. Galactic dust is also visible. I have also seen this happening in these continuation. If I look at this, they are seen in the sky in continuation. First in Maharashtra, then in Gujarat, and this is how it happened. So I also know the track. They're saying no, these are evil spirit. You prove. अरे क्या prove करना है? मैंने तो अपना बता दिया. मेरे evidences तो हैं. Yes or no? True. So now they're saying, okay, now prove how does a comet move around the Earth? I don't know why. I don't know about it. What should I say? I have these evidences. You prove me wrong on this. And if you have ghosts and evil spirits, you prove that. So these fellow, moment they said, who moved the continent? What should have Wagner said? Wagner should have said, I don't know. But this is what my evidences are pulling me to. You are intelligent people. You look into it. But the problem is, अब तो issue हो चुका है ना. अब तो you are adversaries, no. You've already taken sides. You are calling him a fool, a shame to science. And he also, दिल पे ले गया, I will prove that you are wrong. So Wagner says that there are some forces. There is a set of forces that moves the continent. अभी गड़बड़ हो गया. He doesn't have any idea what are the forces. There is no ground to that. जोश जोश में बोल के आ गया. ठीक है? They said, what forces? Please tell us. He said there are two forces, two set of forces. अब Wagner in hyperloop चल रहा है Wagner. ठीक है? Wagner says that there are movements which are taking the continents to north and south. Correct? And there are movements which are taking continents to east and west. East and west. The north-south force is called polar fleeing force, pushing continents to the poles. East-west force is the tidal force. So remember, we asked, sir, what does it mean that tides are taking away water and all those things, taking away the sediments? So tides have the power to come and hit the coast and take away the sediments and deposit. That's okay. Sediment tak theek hai. He's saying when the tide strikes, will it push the continent on one side or not? Now you're wondering, why would the tide strike? Why would the tide strike? See, tide is what? Rising of the water level with the sun and the moon. Remember, the moon and the sun rise in the east, they travel and they set in the west. So what will happen if there is a bulge of water over here? Will the bulge travel in the whole day or not? Wherever the sun and moon is, will the bulge keep on traveling or not? So depending on your longitude, जो भी longitude पर आप हो, उस longitude पर वो bulge होगा. True or not? So when the bulge is traveling this, so whatever comes in between, उसको भी तो push करेगा. So the tidal force is pushing the continent east and west. Yes. And he says, see, the whole continent is being pushed to west, number one. Okay. Some part of it is not being able to push, or lagging behind. It lags behind. This is how islands are created. You get that? Africa was created. Indian plate is going that side. Sri Lanka piche reh gaya, slow. You get that? If this one is moving at a speed of 10 millimeter per year, and this one is moving at a speed of 9 millimeter per year, will this lag behind or not? He says, see, not only the force, I can also explain island formation. जब समझाना है मैं सब कुछ बता देता हूँ. That's it. He says, this is South America. Which side is it moving? It is moving over here. Will there be friction? Will there be friction? Because of friction, things will pile up over here. So what is created? Mountains are created. This is how Andes is created. You people, nonsense people, you were thinking shrinking? तुम एकदम bogus. You just move on the left, सारे इकट्ठा हो जाएंगे. If you have doubts, see, lot of kachra getting collected on the western side in this also. Simple. So I have explained mountain building also. तुम मुझे गधा बताते हो. You think that I am ashamed to science? Look at my work. So Andes and this is Andes and Rockies. Mountain building भी बता दिया उसने. जो problem है वो मैं बता सकता हूँ. Get it? Then they said, अच्छा, what about India के तो north में ये Himalayas? How would you explain that? They said, you are गधा only. You call yourself a scientist? Don't you think north south ऐसे भी तो जा रहा है? So anything that is moving north south वो उधर कचरा इकट्ठा कर रहा है. Yes, कुछ इससे ईगो हर्ट हो गया था उसका. बिल्कुल दिल पे ले गया. अब तो सब मैं करूँगा. True. Do you get that? अब इधर मिस्टेक से मिस्टेक हो गया. Because do you think the continents are moved by water? This is absolutely ridiculous. And you're challenging the scientists. So scientists actually calculated. They calculated the the tidal force needed to move a continent. And they said we need such strong tide that the Earth's rotation will stop. So ye dekho pagla hai. And they said, what is this polar fleeing force? He said, well, it's like a centrifugal force. No, things go outside. They said, अब तो इसने पक्का ये consume करके आया है. They said, see, we were telling you right from the beginning. Right from the beginning, this fellow is not in his senses. ये सब कुछ बता देगा. True. अब इतना मेहनत करें. I'm sure, people who are beginners, even they will appreciate it. दिमाग लगा रहा है. Think and link कर रहा है कि नहीं. But उधर तो बेचारे पे काली ink डाल दी है कि गधा है, this and that. He felt really offended. True or not? Nobody accepted it. The sites have been taken good, bad, ugly. No question, no logic. This fellow is a fool. And that's what it says. 1915 उसने दिया. It took 50 years. And it took his death, 1960s May, for plate tectonic to come after accepting what Wegener had said. Purvi saying, मैं तो इतना भी लिंक नहीं कर सकती. वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ. Purvi, this is a strong guy, good thinking and linking. और prelims fail हो गया. Prelims fail करके आ गया, and people are making fun of him. He inside knows, mains का मौका मिला तो मैं topper हो जाऊंगा. But whenever he gives prelims, he fails. True. ये problem चल रही है उसकी life में. So people rejected. ये देखो अनिर्बाण मेरी तरह. अनिर्बाण के अंदर का वेगनर जागा. लोग क्या क्या नहीं बना लेते यार अपने सहूलियत के लिए. सर मेरा वेगनर, मैं भी वेगनर. बेटा वेगनर turned out to be very very unlucky, so don't make yourself a Wegener. So his idea was much before time. His idea was correct, but people were not ready. Yes or no? Although modern plate tectonics became an acceptable scientific theory, but after his death. Almost as soon as good navigational chart became available, so the continental outlines, persons of learning became intrigued. तो सभी लोगों को पता था कि बाद में पता चला कि हाँ यार continents can move, but अभी तो नहीं पता है. Is everyone okay? So he has evidences also. So सारा homework करके फिर भी fail हो गया. So this is what we are going to look at this. So I want to tell everyone that Wegener का फिर finally हुआ क्या? Wegener gave the forces. People rejected the forces. So his jigsaw fit, rejected. His fossil evidence, rejected. True. Fossil evidence, rejected. Forces, rejected. Rest all is coincidence. So he said, I will prove that I am correct. So do you know that this is the shape of mid-Atlantic ridge? Here what do we have? North America, South America. Here what do we have? Europe. Yes. Here what do we have? Africa. So he says, if they are moving apart, will the distance between Europe and North America increase progressively or not? Okay. So what he did was, उसने एक झंडा इधर लगाया, one flag here in Europe. Okay. Then he went to Greenland and put one more flag in Greenland. And he said, I will monitor their distance every year. अब इसे कहते बेवकूफी. झंडा लगाना या ठीक जगह पे लगा के इधर लगा दे झंडा, क्या टेंशन? Easy to go and see. कहाँ पे कर रहा है इधर? Greenland में he'll go somehow, and Greenland is not the Greenland today, no, 100 years ago. It is very difficult to reach over there. Once you reach over there, what will you do over there? It's all ice and all those things. There is full danger on that. जय माता दी करते ऊपर चढ़ते जाना है. और एक दिन जय माता दी हो गया उसका. Avalanche came and he got buried in that. खत्म हो गया. Just to prove. Easy to lay यार. कई बार ना people don't take straight things. देखो ऐसा होता है ना. It happens in your this thing learning. A question has given you straight options. Very very clear. The answer is also clear. कुछ तो catch होगा. UPSC cannot ask such a simple question. It has to be something Greenland about it. कर लो Greenland. Yes, so that's why he was trying to prove it. That he said, I have more evidence and I can show you the distance is increasing. The distance is increasing and he's always thinking of that, and unfortunately, it goes over there. True or not? अब मुझे तो ये भी समझ में नहीं आता. Everyone who's listening to me, did he not have some friends? ऐसे टाइम पे ecosystem बहुत काम आता है यार. He could have called some of his friends. Yeah, please support me. What all do you have? Scientific community. At least you would have, like more scientists. But then again, totally, एकला चलो. True or not? Purvi Singh scientists के दोस्त कम होते हैं, जो भी है. And you know what? When he dies, other scientists prove him correct. Imagine. मरने के बाद बाकी scientists prove करेंगे तो क्या हुआ? ये देखो. When he died, मेरा jigsaw fit है ना? 1960. Now he is no longer there. Sir Edward Bullard and his associates, they used computers to produce a remarkable fit of continents at 900 meter isobath. Everyone, what is 900 meter isobath? What does it mean? What does the term 900 meter isobath mean? Everyone, isobath का क्या मतलब होता है? depth. So they did not compare the coastline. They went 900-meter deep, and that line they compared. So remember, something which is 900 deep will not be eroded. The waves act only on the surface, no? So will that be preserved? If you go and fit it, now are you correct or not? Coast, so they made fun of Wagner. When they did this, they found a better fit. They found a much better fix, and they actually proved it. They seriously proved it, and this is one of the biggest proof to what he said. But फिर वो मरणोपरांत आया उसको posthumously लोगों ने realize किया ठीक कह रहा था बंदा. Do we get that? So that is that. So there was another this thing, scientist at this time. His name was Arthur Holmes. In 1920s, he was studying the mantle, and he says, if this is the crust, mantle is constantly having convection, and mantle rocks are being pushed up, and they go into this mantle convection, and this mantle convection can lead to crustal movement. Lithospheres can move. अरे यार, सेम पीपल, सेम टाइम, बोथ ऑफ देम आर अलाइव. हैड दे मेट, अगर साथ में मिल जाते और अपनी डायग्राम बुक एक्सचेंज कर लेते, सो थिंग वाज डन. बट मिले नहीं. ट्रू ना? So that's what we're talking about. So ideas were there. Arthur Holmes' mantle convection theory, that even till today is accepted as the reason why plates are moving. But at that time, imagine at that time when the whole scientific world is ridiculing, you had support next to you, but you could not use it. Is everyone okay? So 1930s, Wegener dies. With him dies the idea of non-permanence. Sir, why does it die? Because there are other scientists who are working. Well, they are working, but 1930s is not a great time for the world. Not a great time for the world. This is the interwar period. The conditions are getting ripe for World War II. Yes or no? Hitler is testing everyone's patience. थोड़ा इधर अटैक कर दिया, थोड़ा उधर अटैक कर दिया. Yes, there was something. अभी तो UN तब क्या होती थी? League of Nations, remember? Yes, League of Nations क्या करें? We are condemning it. ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए. इनके ऊपर आर्थिक वो लगाओ, जो लगाने लगाओ. There was Great Depression also. Everything is there. So पैसा है नहीं, research कैसे करेंगे? So there was no research. The mahal was not there. Some people were working on it. Say, for example, a team under a scholar called Alexander Dutoit. Alexander Dutoit. He was a South African geologist. He wrote a book called Our Wandering Continents, 1937. He wrote a book called Our Wandering Continents, and where he had evidence, gave a series of evidences in support. So we can say Arthur Holmes का idea, Arthur Holmes का क्या है? 1920s, 1924 लिख सकते हो आप. Arthur Holmes gave this idea of mantle convection. Get that? And here we have Alexander Dutoit in 1937 talking about it. Later on, Sir Edward Bullard. Yes, 1960s. What did he confirm? He confirmed jigsaw fit at what level? 900-meter isobath. So there are scholars who are able to see that, who are able to conceive, and they are talking about this. So सही बात भी कर. They are talking about it, and they are talking correctly also. But then the fact is that by now the interest, the scientific community, everything is challenged by this. Is everyone okay? Challenged by what? The prevailing environment. Great Depression is there, interwar period is there, there is no funding happening. So इस time पे इस चीज पे बात होना बंद हो गया. Say for example during COVID we were looking at so many lockdowns happening, UPSC changing its date and all that. Did people, their morale and their urgency to write the examination, did it go down or not? Similar thing was happening here also. Is everyone okay? So this was happening here also, and as a result, nothing could be done on this. Everyone with me on this? However, let us look at what else, then how things moved. Objections to this, the tidal force explained over here. Yes or no? Further, Wegener proposed that larger and sturdier continents broke through ocean crust like an icebreaker. उसने कहा, this is wrong actually. He says that this is oceanic lithosphere. Everyone, this is oceanic lithosphere, and continents are cutting through it. So the continent is cutting through this. So isn't this wrong? He's saying there is oceanic lithosphere, and continent like a ship is cutting through this. Today we know they are all connected, so the whole thing moves. Yes, but he was talking about this. So these are the errors which he had made. Despite criticism from all corners, he wrote the fourth and final edition. हर बार book revise कर देता कि नहीं देखो और माल है मेरे पास, more evidence. His evidences. 1933 and final trip to Greenland became his final one. Yes, sir? He could demonstrate the westward drift of Greenland. Demonstrate कि westward देखा. I told you Greenland is going over there. Yes, sir? While returning from Greenland, Wegener perished. तो सारे के सारे पीडीएफ जो उसने टेलीग्राम के लिए कलेक्ट किए थे वो सब उधर ही चले गए. सो एनी ऑफ यू इज इंटरेस्टेड इन मोर पीडीएफ, काश कहीं से मिल जाता तो वहां पर. ठीक है सर, मटेरियल दोगे क्या? हाँ देंगे। सर उसी से हो जाएगा क्या? हो जाएगा, वहीं पर पड़ा हुआ। Although the hypothesis was correct in principle, there also contained many errors. We can very, very clearly see that these errors are there. Yes or no? If all the points in the theory could be established and an adequate motive force, so what was missing was, ये नहीं पता था. He could not explain the driving force. True or not? We would have to credit Professor Wegener with the greatest piece of geological synthesis. आज मरने के बाद तो ऐसे लोग बात करते हैं कि नहीं, अरे पुरुष नहीं महापुरुष थे, इतना बढ़िया थिंकिंग, इतना ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग, इतना थिंक एंड लिंक आजकल के बच्चे कहाँ कर पाते? True or not? So once the fellow is gone, उसके बाद जब तक alive था तब तक he was ashamed to the scientific fraternity. The same people, पार्टी बदलने में देर नहीं लगती है, सुनो. In politics, if a leader dies, suddenly हम लोग भी वोट करने लगते हैं, सुनो. कहीं पर कोई लीडर, when इंदिरा गांधी, after इंदिरा गांधी डेथ, you know, suddenly कांग्रेस बहुत सारे वोट मिले. After राजीव गांधी डेथ, फिर कांग्रेस को वोट दिया. इतने सेंटिमेंटल लोग हैं, मरने के बाद सब अच्छे हो जाते हैं. True or not? Wegener himself, in response to his critics, said, "Scientists still do not appear to understand sufficiently that all Earth science must contribute evidence towards unraveling the state of our planet, and the truth of the matter can only be reached by combining all the evidence." देखिए आप सभी कुछ काम करिए, बट किसी ने काम नहीं किया और वो पर्सनल हो गया. That's a fact. As one derives the past theories in the light of the newly discovered physical fact, those theories which are deemed as modern may be mocked at in the future after they discover the new fact. So he said something new has come. Please show some acceptance to that. But the world was not very kind on that. So Arthur Holmes का भी यहाँ पर दिया हुआ है. Get that? Physical Geology 1966. He kept on modifying, and what he had to offer was that there is some kind of mantle convection that can be propelling the continents. एक अच्छी बात है. So there is some movement that can be there. South African Alexander Dutoit are wandering continent that is happening. So they have done that, but very little was there. And then from the Wegener's death till 1950s, not much was happening. Is everyone okay with me on this? यहाँ तक clear? Next topic is paleomagnetism. Paleomagnetism. Paleo is old and magnetism is magnetic property. So we are looking at paleomagnetism, old magnetic property. That is what is keeping me engaged. So everyone, if a rock has a magnetic material, okay? Have you heard of iron, cobalt, nickel, and iron? इनसे magnet बनती है नहीं बनती? So a rock is having this, okay? And this rock is in Earth's magnetic field. With time, it will get magnetized. True or not? Sir, how is this possible? I don't know. I don't understand. So childhood, some of you would have done that. You've taken a magnet and a pin or something, and you rub on it constantly. There's no magnetic material, and that non-magnetic material also turns magnet or not. ऐसे किया, rub करके experiment किया. You can make it magnetized. So what happens is the magnetic material, the polarities will shift. वो भी अपना north south बना लेता. But that will take a long time. You keep on doing, and then it will be there. Possibly. Now tell me that there is a material. There is a material, and constantly Earth's magnetic field is impacting it. These are the field lines. Whatever magnetic material is, उसके pole dissimilar हो जाएंगे कि नहीं? All south will migrate over here. All north will migrate over here. True or not? Now let us remove the magnetic field. Magnetic field हटा दिया. But already the magnetic material has seen the separation of those magnetic properties or not. So will this turn into a magnet or not? Not an easy process. But magnetizable material can be turned into magnets. Is everyone okay? Number one. Second thing I want to tell you that magnetism is possible in magnetic material. Is possible, but only below a temperature. Only below a temperature, and that temperature is called Curie temperature. Madam Curie के नाम पर Curie temperature. If a metal is heated above the Curie temperature, say for example iron में 580 degrees Celsius होता है. If the metal is at 700 degrees Celsius, it is molten and non-magnetic. Is everyone okay? Though it is a magnetizable material, but when it is at a high temperature, it will not get magnetized. Are you with me on this? When it is at a very high temperature, it will not get magnetized. Everyone with me? वो property loss भी हो जाएगी. If you are above this, you will not get magnetized. If you have gone from low to higher, yes, then if you were magnetic, you will lose it. Is everyone okay? So can I say in a way, all the poles magnetism that got separated, जैसे melt करोगे तो they will all mix back. Yes or no? Again uniformity will be there. You again need to polarize this. So everyone thinks if we are looking at Earth's interior, remember the temperature deep inside the Earth's interior is what? 20,000 degrees Celsius. And remember it is made up of what? Nickel and iron. So nickel and iron, will it get magnetized? Permanent magnet तो नहीं बनेगा. Electromagnet बन सकता है. It can turn into an electromagnet. That I've already told you. That is geomagnetism. But if we are looking at a permanent magnet, that is not possible. Okay. Now this magma starts coming out close to the surface. ये Earth का surface है. And the magma from the center, it started its journey at 20,000 degrees Celsius. Now it is 1,000 degrees Celsius. Is it magnetized? No. 1,000 degrees Celsius, it erupts. Volcano. Yes. 900 degrees Celsius. Is it magnetic? Is it magnetized? No. Now it starts cooling. Excuse me. It cools below its melting point. Will it get solidified? Will it get solidified? Yes or no? Now, before it reaches melting point, it also goes below Curie point. Below Curie point. Will it get magnetized? True or not? Will it get magnetized? Now, this is the material. This is the material, everyone. It got magnetized. Where will I write north? Where will I write south? Which direction did it get magnetized? It can be any direction, no? No idea. It can be any. It can be any. Okay, everyone. So you are in the canteen. You are in the college canteen buying some chips and samosa. Okay. There are 3 exit doors to your canteen. Yes. She also sees you buying chips. Yes. Smiles at you for the first time. And she says, did you attend the class yesterday? Notes हैं क्या? है या नहीं? Will you say है? If you are सच में मतलब होना तो चाहिए. At least Wagner also said, I know the answers. You say, बिल्कुल है. She said, अच्छा, when you are done with the canteen, no, अपना chips खाकर मुझसे मिलना. And she leaves from this exit. अब बताओ, which exit will you leave? A, B और C. तुम कहाँ से बाहर जाना पसंद करोगे? Obviously, sir, A. बल्कि मैं तो चिप्स भी रिटर्न करके सर मैं पीछे हूँ, मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, मैं सारे नोट्स लेकर पहुंच जाऊंगा. True or not? So everyone, when I ask you where will it get magnetized, where is she? Who's she? The magnetizing force. Wherever the poles are. Wherever the poles are. Wait, who's causing the magnetization? The Earth's poles, the magnetic poles of the Earth. If the Earth's magnetic pole is north here and south here, what will happen? This will become south, this will become north. इधर उधर तो कुछ आएगा ही नहीं. Prevailing magnetic field. Can I say a magnet in a way conserves, preserves a record of the Earth's magnetic field direction and intensity of that time? Is it like a fossil or not? Is it like a fossil evidence or not, everyone? है या नहीं है? तो true. This is called paleomagnetism. Rocks preserve the specimen of the magnetism of the time when they turned into solid and cooled below Curie temperature. Is everyone okay? तो रॉक से करते हैं. सबको paleomagnetism समझ आया नहीं आया? True. World War II. A lot of scientific developments were happening. We found that ocean bottoms are very, very dynamic. Get that? We decided to study the samples, the rock samples of the ocean bottom. And when we are studying the rock sample, we would want to know the composition, what is the metal and all those things. And we also decided to study the magnetism. Is everyone okay? We also decided to study the magnetism. ठीक है, आपने कर लिया, अच्छी बात. So everyone, please pay attention. This is the mid-oceanic ridge. Do you get that? This is the mid-oceanic ridge. So magma is coming out and magma is going over there. So we decided to take samples of the rock and we decided to study. About them. And in our studies, to our surprise, we found that magnetic field is like this in one strip, is like this in other strip. ABC. So magnetic field of Earth is not always like this, it is turning. So then the geologist said, yes, Earth's magnetic field can change. So in the geological past, if this is north, if this is south, it's for north mountain, this is south. That means the Earth's magnetic field would have been like this. Sorry. Let's go south मान लेते हैं. Opposite magnetic field करेगा ना induce. South north. उसके बाद क्या हो गया? North is here, south is here, then south north. south, north, north, south. So they tested the age also. They found that this is younger. Say for example, 20 million year old. This is 40 million year old. This is 90 million year old. True. So they said that the polarity of the rocks of the parallel bands was changing. So that's okay. That's one idea. It will pata chal gaya to geologist. Do we understand? Acha, theek hai. When it would have solidified when the poles were like this. It would have solidified when the poles were like this. It would have solidified when the poles were like this. Remember, these are the fossils of magnetism of that time. Is everyone okay? The surprising evidence was that a similar arrangement was found symmetrically on both the sides of the ridge. That means rock A dash, layer A dash had similar polarity. B dash had similar polarity. C dash had similar polarity. Now you have to explain this. So simple explanation is, if the ocean floor was moving towards this side, expanding on this side, yes, and there is matter coming and magma solidifying, yes, equally on either side, then only this can be explained. Do you understand or not? ये थोड़ा सा ये आया. This rock and this rock, A and A dash, came below the Curie point at the same time. B dash came below Curie point at the same time, and they have been in parallel bands. So this was something, a surprising understanding of the oceans. This is called the paleomagnetic studies. Is everyone okay? कब पता चला? World War II के बाद. World War II, after World War II, yes, a geologist by the name Harry Hess studied this. उसको ये भी दिखाई दिया. Yes, who had done paleomagnetic study? Matthew and Mine. So Harry Hess looked at the work of Matthew and Mine. Harry Hess decided to have one more thing. He said, check the age. He checked the age also. They said, can you also check the sediment cover? Remember, ocean bottoms will have sediment cover. So he checked the third thing, sediment cover. And he found that the sediment cover is minimum near the ridge, and as one goes away from the ridge, the sediments are thicker. Is everyone okay? Sediment layer is thicker away from the ridge. Are you with me on this? So many scientific evidences are coming. First of all, one evidence is about paleomagnetic studies of the ocean bottom. Second is the age of the rock increasing as we move from mid-oceanic ridge. So idhar kya hai? Everything. What is here? What is on this side? The continental margin. No? So as one moves from the ocean center towards the continental margin, the age of the rock increases. Age increases. That means this rock is new rock. This rock is older. Yes. The magnetism reverses, and the sediments also, they are maximum close to the coast and visible. Now I want to tell you, can you not see, everyone, that sediments are also a function of the time given for sedimentation? If something is created new will have less sediment, old will have more sediment. True or not? So he has all the things coming to him, and he is in the same situation like Wegener. He has this in his mind. Abhi sari evidences uske paas aa gayi. All the evidences have come, and now he has to think that why this is happening. Think and link. So Harry Hess came to a conclusion. What was the conclusion? Harry Hess came to a conclusion. Everyone, can I say? Let me just draw the diagram first. Let me draw it now. If you want, you can also draw with me. बीच में M लिखना है. First write a M and the lights. ठीक है? People who are not comfortable with drawing 3D, you can see easy. You have to write a M and then do this. Is the ocean floor done? Now what you do? The continental margin. I think geomorphology is all the game of being able to depict what you want to. Is everyone okay with this? He says that this is oceanic plate or oceanic lithosphere is being constantly pushed towards the continental margin, When it reaches the continental margin, it subducts. It subducts. It goes under the continental plate. Do we get that? Because it is going under the continental plate and it is hot, so it will melt. It will melt. He says here in the center, constantly magma is coming out, pouring out, because asthenosphere, or that time it is not asthenosphere, the mid-oceanic ridge is a place where constant magma is coming out. Right? Now this magma solidifies in bands, yes or no? And because fresh magma is being created, so it pushes the previous one away, yes or no? On both sides, will it be pushed or not? It is being pushed, and the polarity, people tell us that the polarity is also getting reversed. True or not? So he says this plate is getting subducted. This he calls, the process is called subduction and melting. And here there is a shortage of magma. Kahan se aayega? Supply kahan se aayegi? So he says this magma, the molten one, goes and fills up this. So in a way, magma is rising at the mid-oceanic ridge, and it is being created at the place where continents and oceans are meeting each other. Continents and oceans are meeting each other. Remember the trench region? In trench region, now you know oceanography. And he says in a conveyor belt like fashion, the oceanic crust is constantly being renewed and destroyed. Okay, and this he called as sea floor spreading. He said that I'm combining all the ideas of paleomagnetism, all my study of sediment cover also, that the sediment cover is thicker away and all that. वो सब भी मैंने यहाँ पर लगा दिया है. So I can explain this only through this. Okay, but he was smart. He knew what the scientific community did to Wegener. So he did not propose it as a hypothesis. Sea floor spreading मैं आपको कह रहा हूँ. He wrote an essay called Essay in Geopoetry. He says, देखिए, I am not serious. ऐसे ही ख्याल आया. उनको देखा तो ख्याल आया. ठीक है? That ocean might be at the bottom. ऐसा हो रहा है. काश ऐसा होता and all that. Do we get that? So no confrontation, nothing. मुझे ऐसे ख्याल आया. आपको कैसी लगी शायरी? And everybody said, वाह वाह वाह. शायरी में ऐसा बोल रहा है, अगर तू साइंस में बोलता तो क्या होता? Actually, हमें तो ये भी पता है. Arthur Holmes also talked about this. You are so smart here. You are telling Arthur Holmes also. We know about Matthew and wine also. Amazing. We know about the rock age. We know about the sediment covers. मतलब आपने कोई एविडेंस नहीं दिया, वो बकवास दे रहा था. He was giving evidence. आप तो मतलब शायरी में आप साइंस क्यों नहीं ट्राई करते? ऐसा when you can do this in शायरी, if you come to science, person like you is like कहाँ मिलते हैं ऐसे लोग? And post Second World War, everything was once again crystal clear. There is more scientific evidence, and people realized, यार वेगनर बेचारे को दौड़ा दौड़ा के मारा हम लोगों ने. He was correct that landforms need not be permanent. Do we get that? ऐसी बहुत सारी थ्योरीज अब हमारे पास हो गई. खुशी, ये तो फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में यूपीएससी क्रैक करेगा. बिल्कुल, कभी देखे तो देखो यूपीएससी. नॉट रियलाइजिंग ये 4 बार फेल हो चुका है. इसने किसी को बताया नहीं था. ट्रू. स्ट्रेट अवे कमिंग टू द कोचिंग क्लास एंड गिविंग ऑल आंसर्स राइट. क्लास में सारे आंसर्स इसको आते हैं. वाह भाई, तू मेंस लिखेगा, तू इंटरव्यू देगा. ये नहीं पता 4 साल से 5000 टीचर से पढ़ चुका है. सबका यूट्यूब चैनल का सब्सक्रिप्शन है इसके पास. सबके नोट्स हैं. ये पीडीएफ बाबा हो चुका है. Nobody knew it. Is everyone okay with this? Sea floor spreading. Was diagram difficult? पब्लिक को बनाने में दिक्कत होती है एग्जाम में. They don't make it. They write, like as if they're writing Shakespeare and drama. अभी कुछ तो हो दे यार उसमें. At least apply some mind in that. Are we clear on this, everyone? If any questions, please ask. अनिल सिंह, अब ज्योग्राफी में डायग्राम से डरने लगता. अच्छी बात है. थप्पड़ से लगता है कि नहीं? मैंने सुना था सोनाक्षी सिन्हा को लगता है. सर योर इंस्टेंट स्टोरीज आर वाव. ओके, मैं सोचा था ज्योग्राफी शुड बी वाव, but geography should not be that boring, no. Studies during 50s in Europe. ठीक है, वहाँ पर एक polar wandering का concept आया. अब this is a non-scientific concept, so let us not get into that. ठीक है, a scientific revolution begins. Marine geologists in the 1950s and 60s great technological strides permitted extensive and detailed mapping of the ocean floor. The mid-Atlantic ridge revealed the trends of parallel continental margins, also great importance on the discovery of Central Rift Valley. We found that there is a rift valley in the center. Oceans ने बहुत चीजें हमारे लिए खोली. है ना? In addition, high heat flow, volcanism, everything was happening over there. In 1960s, All these newly discovered facts were put together by Harry Hess of Princeton University, and he termed it as seafloor spreading in his paper called An Essay in Geopoetry. In Hess now classic paper, अब वो paper classic हो चुका है. You can understand his ideas went viral, एकदम viral हो गया वो. Ocean ridges are located at the upwelling portion where magma is coming up, where ridges are there. As rising material spreads laterally, the seafloor also is spread like a conveyor belt like fashion. Tensions steer the ridge crest produced by the diverging lateral current. Can I say this is the diverging part? Ridge crest इसको apart कर देता है. Provide pathway for magma to intrude. So magma यहाँ से बाहर आ जाता है. True. Thus, as the seafloor moves away from the ridge crest, newly formed crust replaces. So can I say fresh one is pushed away and newly formed crust is replacing it? He further proposed that the downward limb of these convection cells are located beneath the ocean deeps. So, is the downward limb be everyone? Can you see that? There is a downward limb. The older portions get gradually consumed. They descend into the mantle. No wonder ocean floor was young in and constantly being renewed. So, ocean floor is recently created. Also, constant renewal bhi chal raha hai. Is everyone with me? With the seafloor spreading hypothesis in place, Harry Hess had initiated another phase of scientific revolution. The conclusive evidence was in the works of Matthew and Wine, Fred Wine and Matthews. They connected two previously unrelated ideas, Hess ka idea and geomagnetic reversal. What is geomagnetic reversal? The pole changing. Geomagnetic reversal. About the same time when Hess was talking about his ideas, yes, geophysicists have begun to accept that magnetic field periodically reverses. North becomes south, south becomes north. The cause of these reversals apparently linked to the fact that Earth's magnetic field changes in intensity. वो आपको बता दिया था वो increase भी होता है, decrease भी होता है, waxing, waning. In geomagnetism, I told you it can change if the direction of the rotation of the current changes and everything. During periods when Earth's magnetic field is very weak, some external influence like sunspot activity could possibly contribute to the reversal of polarity. बाहर magnetic field of sun can cause our polarity to get reversed. So many things can happen. Using potassium-argon method of radiometric dating, the Earth's magnetic field has been reconstructed. Reconstructed means like fossils. Okay. So everyone knows what is carbon dating. You've heard of carbon dating. Carbon से age पता चलती है. यहाँ पर क्या है? Potassium-argon dating. Radiometric dating. Potassium-argon radiometric dating. If you don't remember potassium-argon, even then it is fine. Get that? So they are doing the job of a geologist. They are recreating the past magnetic field, and this is what they had to create. And these are the magnetic field lines, parallel bands. अब देखो ये डायग्राम सविंदर सिंह टाइप का है. इसको बनाने में जान निकलती है. कितना सिंपल डायग्राम बनाया यार. पैरेलल बैंड्स बना दिए. क्या बना रहा है मतलब? रिफ्ट वैली, ब्लॉक माउंटेन्स, अप मैग्मा, डाउन मैग्मा, एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स. ठीक है. वेरी साइंटिफिक इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स कॉल्ड मैग्नेटोमीटर्स वो यूज. जो करना है यूज कर ले. मुझे बता दिया. थैंक यू. Roughly a north-south direction is happening. The relatively simple pattern of magnetic variation, Matthew and Fred Wine, they were able to create that, and it is supportive of seafloor spreading. Okay, so can you read it from here, and can you use the diagrams which I have made? Even this diagram, I feel like is unnecessarily difficult. This side में बनाने से. Our diagram is easier. Yes, sir. You can use that also. If you want, you can use this diagram for mental convection also. If the question comes on Arthur Holmes, you can do that also. Is everyone okay with this? So does the material and the concept, everything go well with you? समझ में आ रहा है? कोई दिक्कत तो नहीं. अब इतनी सारी चीजें हो गई हैं. Now that the world is known, we know that non-permanence idea is no longer acceptable. Yes, many ideas are there. Can we say Wegener first idea accept कर ले? Should we accept that or not? Wegener had done that. South Africa में डूटॉइट ने लिखा था कुछ. क्या लिखा था सर? Our wandering continents. Remember डूटॉइट? मान ले उसको. डूटॉइट्स वर्क इज दैट. आर्थर होम्स का वर्क है. एडवर्ड बुलर्ड का वर्क है. ये तो पता नहीं. अरे 900 मीटर ऐसो बात. रिमेंबर हैरी हेस सी फ्लो स्प्रेडिंग, मैथ्यूज एंड वाइन. इतने सारे लोगों का काम है. ऑल ऑफ देम आर पॉइंटिंग इन वन डायरेक्शन. ट्रू और नॉट? वेगनर, डूटॉइट, आर्थर होम्स सबकी थ्योरी नहीं लिख रहा. नॉट राइटिंग द थ्योरीज. आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड यू व्हाट इट इज. So are all of them pointing in one direction or not? What is it? All the geologists, please pay attention to the fact that ocean bottom or the land, the lithosphere is not fixed. It is moving. What is driving it? We don't know. But is it time that all of us, what Wegener was saying, all of us should unite, come to a comprehensive idea? True or not? सब मिलकर एक साथ एक थ्योरी बनाते हैं. So a comprehensive theory was created, which is called plate tectonic theory. Morgan, Wilson, Lee Pichon compiled all works, preceding works, to give a comprehensive theory of lithosphere. Something that explains the static part or the landforms, as well as the डायनेमिक पार्ट, द मोशन, सब कुछ एक्सप्लेन करने वाली थ्योरी, अ थ्योरी which is more comprehensive, that theory is called the plate tectonic theory. Is everyone with me on this? कोई क्वेश्चन है तो पूछो. If you have a question, you can ask me. What is the theory? Let us look at the theory now. Let us look at the theory. 2 minutes break. Okay, chaliye. So 2 minutes break on this. What do we have here? Ocean floor spreading. Everyone, the material will be posted. Sea floor spreading तक सारा material इधर है. It is 1350, 1353. ठीक है. Okay, till 1:55 we have a break. 5 minutes break. Is everyone okay? And after that, I'll take around 20 minutes for this. So I'm extending the class every day because I want to finish the syllabus also before the prelims. I want that to happen in a time-bound manner. So let's take this small little break. 1:55. 5 minutes break. Everyone. So any questions in this part? अगर आपके पास नहीं तो I have a set of questions to think on. Question number 1. Examine the idea of permanence of landforms. Examine the idea of permanence of landforms. Discuss Wegener's continental drift hypothesis with its evidences. So generally, when we are talking about the word discuss, so whenever you get discuss, that means you have to talk about the pros and cons, everything. Is that okay? Discuss Wegener's continental drift hypothesis with its evidences. Compare Wegener's hypothesis and Hess's theory, CDH and seafloor spreading. Examine geomagnetism or explain paleomagnetism. पूरा क्यूरी टेम्परेचर एंड एवरीथिंग वो मटेरियल में भी, हैंड आउट में भी, ठीक है. हाउ डिड मैथ्यूज एंड वाइन support the idea of seafloor spreading? Question, ये ओशनोग्राफी में कराया था. How did acoustic studies help in developing the idea of, this is a combination question. Everyone, I hope you can understand that the last one is just a simple question which is saying acoustic study. Acoustic study means, remember sonar and all. How did sonar help in establishing? Well, sonar helped us in understanding the ocean bottoms. Ocean bottom में हमको क्या पता चला? We got to know ridge. From the ridge, we got to know volcano. From the volcano, we got to know the age of this thing. Yes or no? Then later on, paleomagnetic studies. Paleomagnetic also, we found the rocks from there. No, acoustic areas. Like from the acoustic things, we got to know which area is close to the ridge, which area is away from the ridge, and we did that. Do we get that? So the examiner is preparing smart questions. So what you have to do is today the homework is read the handout. It is, I think, 5 or 6 page handout, and get the content for these answers. And that content should not only be there कि हाँ मुझे समझ आ गया, that I've understood. You've understood the class, but what will I use in the answer? What all information has to go? One is general, which I've told you. You will have your own language, good, bad, ugly, whatever is there. Yes. Akshay says manual and sonar. Akshay, this is not about manual. Acoustic is sound wave, so directly sonar only. This is only about sonar studies. How did sonar study help in developing the idea of seafloor spreading? They explained us where the ridge is there. They explained us where trenches are there. They explained us, parts of the ridge, those sea mounts, gyorts which are placed. So everything was explained through this. ऐसे हमको we will handle and answer this question. Is everyone okay with this? So this is what I wanted everyone to see and understand and appreciate. So go back home, make sure you do this. At least, are you comfortable with the content? जो content था वो हमारे पास है या नहीं है? We must be looking at that also. Is everyone okay? Clear? So now where we are at a new theory. This is called the plate tectonic theory. Tectonics means movement, the building forces. Tectonic forces means the movement or building forces. So plate tectonic theory. Please write down. Let's write down something on this. In wake of the various developments or various scientific developments in the field of lithospheric studies, it became evident that a comprehensive theory for Earth's lithosphere and its dynamism, a comprehensive theory for Earth's lithosphere and its dynamism is inevitable. Get that? Is inevitable. The ideas of seafloor spreading and continental drift. The ideas of seafloor spreading and continental drift had adequate evidences to reject the idea of permanence of landforms. And instead come up with a more comprehensive theoretical paradigm, theoretical paradigm that not only incorporates the findings of these latest ideas on lithosphere and its dynamism, but also offers a scientific explanation for various geophysical phenomena, in bracket earthquake, volcano, folding, faulting, trenching, etc. Geophysical phenomena, as well as bracket close, etc. bracket close, as well as the landforms created on account of these phenomena. So you not only explain to us the theories, the ideas, the phenomena, but also the landforms. So landforms भी इसी में include हो जाएंगे. Is everyone okay with this? Everyone clear on this? If any questions, please ask. So can I say this theory cannot be attributed to one person? सभी लोगों ने मिलके बनाई है, ठीक है? Please write down. This theory is not attributed to one single person. This theory is not attributed to one single person. Rather, the leading geomorphologists and geologists, in bracket, as I told you, Morgan, Wilson, Pichon, came together to combine all knowledge to give this theory. Next paragraph, as per this theory, the Earth's surface is called the lithosphere. It is the rigid, rocky outer layer. That forms the solid outer surface of Earth. This lithosphere is resting upon a deformable plastic solid layer of the outer mantle, called the asthenosphere. Is everyone okay with this? It's called the asthenosphere. यहाँ तक ठीक है? दो लेयर समझ में आ गई, lithosphere and asthenosphere. And in bracket, can you see? Draw the picture diagram. Lithosphere. ठीक है? Lithosphere is what? Crust plus outer mantle. Asthenosphere is what? 100 to 400 kilometer depth layer. I've already told you about that it is a deformable plastic solid layer. Is everyone okay? Let's write on further. उसके बाद क्या लिखना है? The theory can be seen in two parts. The theory can be seen in two parts. The geometric part and the kinematic part. Kinematic part is also called the dynamic part, and the geometric part is also called the static part. Okay. The geometric part explains, you can write in the flowchart itself, structural aspect of lithosphere. What is it made up of? Okay. What is the structural part? Lithosphere is not continuous layer, fragmented into smaller rocky slabs. We call them plates or tectonic plates. Is everyone okay? These tectonic plates can be of two types: continental plate and oceanic plate. Is everyone okay? ये दो तरह के होते हैं, कॉन्टिनेंटल और ओशियानिक प्लेट. Kinematic part is about the motion or dynamism of the lithosphere. Do we get that? Plates are not stationary. Plates move and interact with surrounding plates along their margins. Plates move and they interact with the surrounding plates along their margins. उनके margin पर वो interact करते हैं. Do we get that? This leads to three types of margins. Three types of margins. Convergent plate margins, divergent plate margins, convergent plate margins, divergent plate margins, and last is called transform margins. Last is called transform margins. Is everyone okay with that? So the theory, when a question comes on this theory, कम ही पूछते हैं इस theory पे question. इतना बड़ा question नहीं पूछेगा, parts पूछेगा. They will ask us question in parts. They can ask us geometric part only. They can ask us kinematic part only. And rather than asking us the whole kinematic part, they might even ask, like probably only one margin, say convergent margin, divergent margin. Most of the activity जो होती है, most of the activity which is happening, वो activity होती कहाँ पर है? Margins पर ही होती है. ठीक है? So I was talking about ecosystems in the morning in the class, GS class, environment class. So I was talking about ecotone. Ecotone is the area between two इकोसिस्टम. So, वहां पे ज्यादा ड्रामा होता है. ठीक है, चलिए प्लेट की बात करते हैं. ये पहला ज्योमेट्रिक पार्ट लेते हैं. There are two types of plate: continental plate and oceanic plate. ठीक है, continental plate is largely granitic and andesitic. Remember, continents are made up of granite and andesite. Oceanic plate, on the other hand, is largely basaltic. This one is largely basaltic. This is lighter and less dense. Lighter and less dense. Generally 2.8 gram per centimeter cube. Can I say more sialic? सियाल ज्यादा होता है, लाइटर होता है. ठीक है, इसमें सियाल भी आएगा, सीमा भी आएगा. Relatively heavier and dense. The gravity goes to 3 gram per centimeter cube. Specific gravity or density. And सियाल भी है और सीमा भी है. Do we get that? है तो crusty, more सीमा आने लगेगा because mantle का part ज्यादा आने लगेगा. So that's what we are talking about. So mostly sialic, more sialic. That's what I'm saying. So थोड़ा सा relative रखना है. There were in the very beginning, I remember, all of you asking strange questions, अजीब से question पूछ रहे थे. So that is that. ठीक है. तो जब हम इसकी बात करते हैं सियालिक में, यू कैन से फेल्सिक, जैसे मेगा कह रही है इसमें आयरन और एल्यूमिनियम. फेल्सिक, यस. और ये माफिक होता है. ठीक है, माफिक मतलब मेटल ज्यादा है इसमें, आयरन एंड सैंड, इसमें सैंड ज्यादा है. ठीक है. हैव हायर सिलिका कंटेंट, हायर सिलिका कंटेंट, लेस सिलिका. नाउ वांट टू टेल यू, मोर सिलिका मींस मोर विस्कस. not easily flowing. So that is what we are talking about. So that can also be there. And silica means acidity. So acidic less silica is basic. ठीक है, बेसिक रॉक है. कॉन्टिनेंटल अगर मुझे दिखानी हो तो ये लाइटर लेस डेंस है, ये थिक होती है. ठीक है, दिस इज कॉन्टिनेंटल प्लेट. ओशियनिक प्लेट ऑन द अदर हैंड इज थिनर. ठीक है. The static part is this, continental and oceanic. Apart from that, geomorphologists have also seen geometric part from a spatial point of view in terms of major plate, macro plates, minor plate or micro plate. Is everyone okay? Major plates have been identified. There are 7 in number. 7 in number. Minor or micro, no consensus. There are many. What is this? All the continents: North American plate, South American plate, African plate, Europe and Asia same plate, Eurasian plate, Antarctic plate, and India and Australia share a plate which is called Indo-Austral plate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7th is the largest one, Pacific plate. ठीक है. As regards micro, बहुत सारे नाम हैं यहाँ पर. As I said, Cocos plate, Caribbean plate, Nazca plate, Burma microplate, Juan de Fuca plate. In fact, this is the smallest plate. Okay, Philippines plate, Gulf of Mexico plate, many plates are there. ठीक है. अब ये वाला पार्ट आपको अभी देखना है कहीं पर. Where will it be available? In your atlas. Please look at the plate tectonic map of your atlas. जल्दी से plate tectonic map निकालेंगे. And if you have Oxford, please find out the map which is called the what do we call that map? The natural disaster map. Quickly, natural disaster map लिखेंगे. And I would want you to locate the map of plate boundaries in that. ये मैंने आपके लिए plate tectonics वाली sheet upload की है अभी. I've just uploaded the plate tectonic sheet for you so that I can show you all this. But I want you to check with your atlas. जल्दी से check करेंगे atlas quickly. Modern version and old idea. What is it? Geometric part. Samuel and Matthews in their book called This Changing Earth. This is such a beautiful sentence. They say Atlantic widens, the Pacific narrows. The Alps grow higher. Los Angeles slides northward, and Africa splits apart. The theory of plate tectonics can most beautifully be summarized in the words of Samuel and Matthews. So if you remember that, well, this is a very good quote. You can start your answer with this. Easy enough. Atlantic, mid-oceanic ridge widens. Pacific narrows. Alps, young full mountain still rising, grows higher. Los Angeles, sliding boundary, slides northward. Africa, Rift Valley, splitting apart. So plate tectonics is giving us a key to all this, understanding everything about this. The integrated concept of continental rift, seafloor spreading, plate tectonics is called new global tectonics. What is tectonics? I hope you can see that. The diagram है, thick plate, thin plate, thick plate, thin plate. Subduction also happening. Everything that you are looking at will be happening in this. Is everyone clear? तो material में भी दिखा रहा हूँ, and those plates are also over there. This is what you will find in the atlas. These are the plates. So I have given you the plate map also. You can use that. American plate, Eurasian plate, all the names have been given. They are also given over here. So this material will be uploaded after the class. आज का homework है, please इसमें से अपने diagram कर लीजिए. कल मैं आपको boundaries पे काम कराना शुरू करूँगा. Divergent plate boundaries, then convergent plate boundaries, then after convergent we will have, these are the diagrams. You can simplify them. Transform boundaries. Then this model. How true is this? What is the critical analysis of plate tectonic theory? They ask us this question, critically analyze. So testing the model, whether it is correct or not, that will also come. And then the driving mechanism. What is driving the plates? Remember, Wegener was not able to explain that. And finally, limitations and criticism, those points. So everything on plate tectonics, that is there. I'll take around an hour or so. We will finish this tomorrow. And then we will go into volcanism. Remember, volcano explained through plate tectonics. There's another idea which is called intraplate volcanism. वो भी इसी में आएगा. Somebody asked a question on intraplate activity. That will also come. Once those two are done, I think tomorrow I'll do that only. But if required, we can go into mountain building also. So how mountains are built, and we can explain everything through this. So we have got the theoretical paradigm. We'll explain the mountain building also through this. Is everyone okay? So that's what we are going to do tomorrow. I have given you a hint on that. You have two homeworks today. One is plate tectonics, other is continental drift and this thing. If you've not read 11th class NCRT, there also you can begin from there, easy words, and then my material has all in it. So this will be uploaded in the update section. Is everyone okay? Hindi medium, English medium, all of you understanding? Comfortable? So thank you. Don't miss the classes, whatever those classes are. If you miss some of them, please keep updating. And can I remind you that request 2 years, make academic excellence as your prime engagement. Thank you. See you tomorrow morning 8 o'clock. We'll start the environment class. Bye-bye.